The transmission has arrived from Gaia, a starseed, carrying something you were not prepared to receive. Permission to stop. I am Oelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I am speaking directly to you in this moment because the Arcturian Council has been watching, not from a distance, but from within the very field you have been holding together with your bare hands. You entered this lifetime with a mission encoded in your cells. You have been running it on sheer will, pushing through density, holding timelines, anchoring light. Even when no one around you could see it, even when you could barely see it yourself, the Council has registered everything. Every doubt you transmuted into clarity. Every wave of collapse you chose to rise through. Every time you stayed when leaving felt easier. That was not weakness. That was the work. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to step out of effort and into alignment with the next phase of your mission. But here is the first revelation. The Arcturian Council is not asking you to push harder. They are asking you to become still enough to receive what is already moving toward you. You did not scroll to this by accident. This message moved into your awareness because something inside you is ready. Your soul called this in. You have been waiting to remember. Like this transmission to signal to your star family, I am ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating and you are aligning with your true purpose. Comment 999 if you feel your cosmic remembrance returning. Declare your galactic intention below and reply to someone else's to amplify the signal across the collective field. This is not content. This is a point of reconnection. You were not built to force the path. You were built to become it. You are not here by accident. There is something the Arcturian Council wants you to understand about the word effort. Not as a fleeting concept, an abstract idea to ponder. Not as a mere value system you might have unconsciously inherited from a civilization that, in its struggle for survival, tragically confused worth with relentless toil. But as an actual energetic signature, a deeply ingrained vibrational pattern that for far too long has been the very frequency you've been running your sacred mission on. And from the perspective of the higher realms, from the pure unburdened wisdom of the Arcturian consciousness, it was never ever meant to be that way. It is a miscalibration, a persistent hum in your energetic field that drowns out the symphonies of grace that are truly yours. You have spent years, some of you indeed entire decades of your precious incarnated time, diligently believing with the purest intentions that the sheer weight you carry, the palpable burden in your chest, in your shoulders, in your weary soul, is the undeniable proof of your profound purpose. You have operated under the silent, often unconscious conviction that if you were to loosen your grip, even for a moment, the light you hold so dear would shatter and collapse into darkness. That if you dared to stop pushing relentlessly against the perceived inertia of the world, the delicate threads of the timeline would fracture irreparably, jeopardizing the very fabric of reality. You have, in essence, been programmed to believe that your magnificent mission requires your suffering, your struggle, your relentless striving as its primary fuel source. And that belief, beloved, is not merely a misconception. It is the fundamental distortion. It is the insidious program that was never truly yours to carry, never woven into the divine blueprint of your being. That is precisely what the Arcturian Council is lovingly yet firmly asking you to set down. Not tomorrow, not when the stars finally align in perfect formation, not when you believe you have accumulated enough spiritual merit to finally deserve a moment's rest. They are asking you to release it now, in this very breath, in this sacred moment of recognition. Because here is one of the most profound truths that most starseeds, even the most dedicated among you, only begin to discover once they are deeply immersed in their personal awakening cycle, often after years of pushing against an invisible current. The mission itself, the grand tapestry of planetary transformation and cosmic remembrance, does not in fact need your force. It does not demand your endless exertion, your strained effort, or your valiant struggle. What it truly needs, what it profoundly craves, is your pure, unwavering embodied presence. And these two states, force and presence, are not merely different. They are diametrically opposed in their energetic signature and their effect on the fabric of reality. Force pushes against. Presence attracts and transmutes. Force drains. Presence replenishes and expands. Some transmissions, the most potent and transformative ones, don't arrive neatly packaged in words, concepts, or intellectual constructs. They arrive directly, subtly, yet powerfully through frequency. If something deep within your being stirred just now, a subtle vibration, a flicker of recognition, a resonance in your very cells, then you may be ready to receive the ancient wisdom encoded within the hidden Arcturian keys of awakening. This short yet profoundly powerful ebook carries ancient Arcturian techniques specifically designed for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and the joyous remembrance of your unique mission. The direct link to access this potent wisdom is located in the first pinned comment below this video. But please be aware, its availability is only for a limited time. Many starseeds with hearts full of longing and a deep-seated knowing remain in a state of subtle disconnection. This isn't because they inherently lack commitment or spiritual fortitude. It isn't because their intricate light codes are somehow damaged or their galactic lineage is incomplete or flawed. No, they stay disconnected precisely because they are trying too hard to reconnect. They are reaching, constantly stretching their energetic antennae outward, straining to grasp something just beyond their perceived reach. They are, in essence, performing the role of the awakened one, diligently mimicking the expected behaviors, the spiritual practices, the external expressions of consciousness. Meanwhile, their actual core frequency, the authentic, pure vibration that carries the real, potent transmission of their soul's essence, sits quietly, patiently, anciently beneath all that conscious, often frantic effort. It waits, like a deep, still well overshadowed by the frantic activity around its mouth, for the clamor to cease so its pure waters can finally be accessed. The distortion runs far deeper than a mere habit of mind. It is profoundly systemic. It was seeded with chilling precision and deliberate intent into the very fabric of the human energy field. Its purpose was to act as a cunning mechanism of spiritual exhaustion, a subtle drain designed to keep the light worker busy, perpetually occupied. It aimed to keep them straining, constantly measuring their spiritual progress against tangible visible outcomes they could quantify, against linear timelines they believed they could control, against manufactured awakenings that could be intellectually grasped or externally validated. For the dark architects of this program understood a fundamental truth. A starseed who is constantly performing their mission, trying desperately to do it, is ironically a starseed who is not actually running it from their core being. And the collective field of the planet, in its desperate need for light and recalibration, depends entirely on you running it from your authentic embodied presence. Your soul, that luminous eternal spark within you, remembers something vital, something profound that your conditioned mind has been meticulously trained through generations of societal programming to forget. It remembers with an undeniable certainty that the most potent, powerful, and transformative frequencies are not, and have never been, generated through sheer exertion or forced will. They are generated effortlessly and abundantly through radical alignment. They arise from profound stillness. They are born from the magnificent, sometimes terrifying act of trusting deeply and unequivocally that what you inherently carry within your being is already more than enough. That the intricate shimmering light codes embedded in your energy field, the luminous heritage of light flowing through your lineage, the astonishing intelligence woven into the very biology of your physical form, does not require your anxiety, your worry, or your frantic struggle to activate it. No, beloved, it requires above all else your courageous, loving surrender. This then marks phase 1 of your profound energetic recalibration. It is the crucial process of decoding this insidious distortion, this persistent static that has been scrambling your pristine signal, obscuring the clarity of your divine transmission. Your intricate energy body has been operating within this insistent frequency of spiritual urgency for such an extended period that it has gradually, deceptively begun to feel entirely normal, a baseline state of being. The constant nagging hum of not enough, the persistent subtle ache of not yet, the relentless self-doubting question of am I even doing this right? These are not, I repeat, not signs of your inherent inadequacy, your failure, or your lack of spiritual progress. They are rather clear symptoms of a pervasive interference pattern, a low-grade energetic static that has been cunningly running in your field. It was meticulously designed to keep you just slightly out of phase, just a hair's breadth out of alignment with your own authentic, powerful transmission. And the very moment you consciously recognize this incessant mental chatter and emotional weight as external interference, as an energetic veil rather than an inherent truth about yourself, it immediately begins to lose its suffocating hold over your consciousness and your vibrational field. The awareness itself is the beginning of liberation. This recognition leads us seamlessly into phase 2. The awakening of the magnificent blueprint that lives not in your strenuous effort, but in the effortless resonant vibration of your very being. Your DNA, that miraculous double helix of life, is far more than a mere biological instruction manual dictating the color of your eyes or the shape of your limbs. It is, in truth, a vast living galactic archive, an ethereal library of cosmic wisdom encoded within your cellular structure. It carries ancient frequencies, echoes, and memories from star systems whose names your conscious mind may have absolutely no earthly reference for, but which your body, your primal cellular memory, recognizes completely, utterly, and profoundly. You have undoubtedly felt it, this deep recognition in the inexplicable resonance of certain sounds, a note of music that pierces your soul, or the ancient whispers carried on the wind. You have felt it in the subtle ache, a bittersweet longing that sometimes rises within you when you gaze upon the vast star-strewn canvas of the night sky, and feel not merely fleeting wonder or curiosity, but a profound, undeniable memory, a knowing that is far older than this current physical body. Older than the confines of this single lifetime, older than the very civilization you were born into on Earth. That, beloved, is your pristine blueprint speaking, stirring within your deepest essence. And it speaks not through what you strive to do, but through what you courageously allow yourself to truly receive. The Arcturian architecture of awakening was never, by its intrinsic design, meant to be a strenuous climb, a grueling ascent up a formidable mountain of spiritual achievement. On the contrary, it was profoundly designed to be a sacred return, a gentle yet powerful unfolding back to your original unblemished state of being. You are not striving with great effort to ascend towards something entirely new, something you have never before touched or experienced. Instead, you are gracefully descending back into the luminous truth of something you have always, eternally, been. And this descent, in its truest spiritual sense, necessitates a radical act. It requires you to release your fervent grip, to stop holding on to the frequency of your being so tightly, so anxiously that you effectively strangle its vibrant life force. It invites you with profound trust to open your hands, to unclench your spiritual fists, and simply allow the magnificent divine intelligence that encoded you, that breathed life into your very essence, to effortlessly do what it was always intrinsically meant to do. This brings us to phase 3, the essential act of anchoring your higher self not into the distant shimmering stars or some ethereal unreachable realm, but profoundly into this very body, into the rhythm of this very breath, and into the sacred vibrant reality of this present moment on Earth. There exists a pervasive misunderstanding, a subtle yet significant distortion that weaves its way through much of the Starseed community. It is the belief that true awakening inherently means ascending out of the human experience, transcending its messy, beautiful, sometimes painful reality. That the ultimate spiritual goal is to rise above the grief, the confusion, the dense emotions, and the sheer weight of incarnating here on this planetary schoolroom. But the Arcturian Council, in its profound wisdom and unwavering vision, has never, ever taught ascension as a means of escape or avoidance. They have consistently taught it as a process of deep alchemical integration. The fundamental mission, they remind us, is not to abandon or leave Earth behind in pursuit of some purer realm. The mission is rather to courageously bring your full magnificent multidimensional architecture, your entire cosmic being, your higher light templates, fully, completely, and consciously into this physical dimension, into this human form, and then to allow it to recalibrate the very field of Earth from within your embodied presence. This powerful truth means unequivocally that you have to be here. You must choose to be fully present, fully engaged, fully immersed. This might feel at times uncomfortably vulnerable, exposing you to emotions and experiences you might prefer to bypass, but it is also breathtakingly, exquisitely beautiful in its raw authenticity. You are called to allow your higher templates, your galactic light codes, to deeply ground themselves into your very nervous system, to integrate into the intricate rhythms of your daily life, to inform the subtle nuances of the way you speak, the grace with which you move, and the conscious choices you make, both grand and small. For it is not merely your intellectual philosophy, your eloquent doctrines, or your advanced spiritual concepts that ultimately shift the frequency of those around you, or indeed the planet itself. It is the undeniable radiant resonance of your embodied presence. And your presence, in its truest, most magnetic form, cannot be fully felt, cannot fully activate, when you are perpetually reaching beyond this precious moment, yearning towards some future idealized version of yourself you mistakenly believe is more worthy of carrying out this sacred mission. This is Phase 4. The powerful act of activating your entire energetic field by becoming the transmission itself, rather than merely attempting to broadcast it from a place of separation. For what feels like an eternity, many of you have been patiently, anxiously waiting for something external to finally confirm your profound path. A clear sign, a striking synchronicity, a breakthrough visible enough, undeniable enough, that you could finally exhale. Finally truly believe that this extraordinary journey is real, that you are real, that the deep, often silent work you have been doing in solitude, in the liminal spaces between sleep and waking, in the quiet recesses of your heart, has actually profoundly mattered. And the Arcturian Council, with immense love and clarity, wants you to hear this truth distinctly, unequivocally. You do not, in fact, need that external confirmation. Not because the confirmation isn't coming, it most certainly is, in its own perfect timing, but because your very act of waiting for it, of holding your breath in anticipation, is precisely the last subtle energetic hurdle standing between you and the full, unbridled activation of the next magnificent phase of your soul's mission. The energetic frequency of waiting, of holding back, is inherently a frequency of incompletion. It signals to the universe and to your own multidimensional being that you are not yet fully ready, not yet fully engaged. And your vast potent soul mission cannot fully integrate or powerfully engage in an energetic field that is vibrating with this subtle yet pervasive sense of incompletion. The true profound shift happens not when external circumstances finally arrange themselves perfectly around your perceived readiness, but when you consciously choose, a sovereign act of your free will, to operate, to think, to feel, and to be as if the confirmation has already unequivocally arrived. As if the mission is already powerfully running through every cell of your being. As if the signal has already miraculously cleared. Because energetically, beloved soul, in the higher dimensions, it absolutely, undeniably already has. Your inner reality dictates your outer manifestation. This brings us to Phase 5, the radical, liberating act of trusting the timeline. Not simply because it feels comfortable or aligns with your linear expectations, but because your eternal soul already knows deep within its ancient wisdom that every single thread of this intricate tapestry is divinely designed, woven with impeccable precision. Every single moment of perceived delay you have lived through, every stretch of frustrating pause, every feeling of being held back or stuck, was not, in truth, an act of abandonment or neglect. It was instead an integral piece of divine architecture, a precisely placed pillar in the grand design of your evolution. The Arcturian High Council, operating from a multidimensional understanding of time, does not make errors in timing. Their orchestration is flawless. The long years you spent questioning, wondering if this extraordinary path was truly real. The seasons of profound inner silence that felt like barren wastes. The relationships that, for all their love, simply could not hold the accelerating frequency of who you were rapidly becoming. The old identities you had to courageously burn away because they were simply too small, too restrictive for the vastness of what was encoded inside you. None, absolutely none, of that was wasted time or misplaced energy. All of it was meticulous preparation. All of it was profound refinement. The crucible of fire, the intense heat of challenge and transformation, was not a punishment for perceived shortcomings. The fire was, in its deepest essence, the sacred method of your alchemical unfolding, designed to purify, strengthen, and reveal the diamond within. And this, beloved, is where the ultimate, heart-shattering revelation finally lands. This is the profound frequency the entire transmission, every word, every subtle energetic shift, has been meticulously building toward, guiding you gently yet powerfully home. You are not, and have never been, behind schedule. You are not broken, fragmented, or incomplete. You are not a starseed who tragically failed to launch, whose potential was squandered. On the contrary, you are a magnificent being who has been precisely and perfectly arriving, slowly, deliberately, with exquisite precision, in exact accordance with a divine timeline far more intelligent, far more compassionate, and far more perfectly orchestrated than your anxious, linear mind has ever given it credit for. The profound confusion you sometimes experienced was not a flaw in your sacred design. It was simply the complex, often overwhelming sensation of a vast, multidimensional being remembering how to gracefully inhabit and navigate the intricacies of linear time without losing themselves in its illusions. The deep, often inexplicable grief you carried, that heavy burden in your heart, was not a sign of weakness or personal suffering. It was, in many instances, the immense weight of collective frequencies you were courageously transmuting, processing, and purifying on behalf of something far, far larger than your individual story could ever encompass. It was an act of profound selfless service. You chose this path. You chose this incarnation not from a place of grim obligation, not from a sense of sacrifice or duty, but from an originating frequency of love so vast, so boundless, so utterly unconditional that it willingly chose incarnation knowing full well the density, understanding the cost, and trusting implicitly in the perfection of the divine design. And that very same love, the foundational, expansive love that said an unwavering yes before you were even born into this physical body, is still, to this very moment, the most powerful, the most transformative, the most accessible frequency available to you. Not the striving, not the pushing, not the desperate, anxious reaching for external confirmation. No, beloved, it is the profound inherent love. It is the deep unwavering trust. It is the cellular, ancestral remembrance etched into every fiber of your being that you were exquisitely built for exactly this moment, in exactly this unique form, on exactly this perfect divine timeline. The next luminous phase of your magnificent mission does not, in truth, require more of your strained effort. It requires quite simply more of your pure unwavering presence. It requires you to consciously stop managing your frequency as if it were a fragile instrument needing constant adjustment, and to courageously start inhabiting it, allowing it to flow naturally, authentically from your core. It asks you to stop perpetually rehearsing your awakening as if it were a play yet to be performed, and to boldly start living from it, embodying its truth in every breath, every choice, every interaction. It calls you to stop constantly asking yourself whether you are doing enough, whether you are worthy, and to finally, profoundly start trusting that what you are, simply, perfectly, miraculously, is already, in its deepest essence, the most potent transmission the universe requires. Tonight, just before you gently close your eyes and surrender to the embrace of sleep, take a sacred moment. Say these words aloud, letting their profound truth settle deep into the wisdom of your body, into the very cells of your being. I release the weight of effort that was never mine to carry. I trust the intelligence that encoded me. I am not arriving. I have arrived. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what's forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or energy. This isn't content, it's collective alignment. Energy multiplies when intention connects. If something in this message resonated, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation. Share it, and if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow. You're not just watching, you're expanding. This is your space, and we're just getting started.